الحمد لله الذي جعل الفوارق بين النساء والرجال لما أنهم يفضلوهن في عديد من الخصال، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا الذي أكد على الالتزام في كل مجال والإنابة إلى الله قبل حلول الآجال، وعلى آله وصحبه الذي يقولوا ربهم في أحسن حال. أما بعد، وقال الله تعالى في قرآن المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إلى آخر الآية. صدق الله العلي العظيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Dear brothers, respected teachers, judges and other smart persons, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I am here to say some words about gender neutrality. So, first and foremost, I praise Allah who blessed me with this golden opportunity in front of you. Dears, the modern era is a period of significant development in the fields of science, technology, politics and warfare. It is an age of discovery, invention, advancement and fear globalization. During this time, the European powers later their colonies began a political, economic and cultural colonization of the rest of the world. Modernity, with its goal of institutionalizing a number of evolving principles such as moral autonomy, human rights, civil equality, consumerism, freedom of market and secularism, has proven to be a great challenge to religion, tradition and communities, particularly the Abrahamic faith of Judaism, Christianity and Islam. A powerful reason for these changes is that as Muslims, we live turn to distinct worldviews, value system and way of life. That of Islam and that of the contemporary secularized world created by the modern West. Whether we choose to admit it or not, we are heavily influenced by the society and culture we live in, specifically Western education system of public and private schools and universities that most for us are products of. We have knowingly or unknowingly adopted the value system and way of life that's based on modernity, liberalism and secularism. For example, our understanding for this concept and ideals of freedom, justice, liberty, equality, mercy and fairness are informed through a very liberal and secular lenses that refuses to acknowledge the divine. The purpose of this article is to help develop and shape a framework for understanding for this concept and ideals of. For understanding gender rooted in revelation, the Quran and Sunnah, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I am not trained sociology, anthropology, or gender studies. Framing the discussion, the concept of the gender, especially as it is understood within the humanities and social science, is a relatively recent invention in humanities. Historically, gender was a grammatical term to refer to masculine and feminine words, and started to use it to refer to social construct in 1950s and 1960s. Sexologist John Money introduced a terminological distinction between biological sex and gender as a rule in 1955. He defined it as all those things that a person says or does to disclose himself or herself as having the status of boy or man and girl or woman. Psychology in the 1960s were the first use the word gender distinguish biological difference from social and psychological ones. In order to explain why some people felt their wrong bodies, why some people felt their wrong bodies, Robert Stoller began using terms sex distinguish biological traits and gender to highlight this Robert Stoller began using gender to highlight amount of femininity or masculinity or person exhibitor. Separating these terms and and allowing phenomenon of transsexuality, transsexual sex and gender simply don't match. I am concluding my words. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.